Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss a video from Radio 1.
Welcome to the show. Ever so often, you find that India is plagued with the issue of color, right? You're either too dark, you're either too fair, you're either in need for a little bit more of a complexion. And it's been a topic that has, let's just say, plagued us for years and generations. But finally, I think we're at a place where we can seriously talk about it. And this morning on the show, we're focusing in that fight against colorism, right? The awareness and the advocacy of accepting all skin colors. And also how the unjust effects of drawing attention to skin color has shaped societal attitudes for generations, be it reinforced by media messages or just, that old auntie who says that, "Arey beta, you've become little black." It's such a horrible thing to hear, but we're slowly getting over it. And aiding in that campaign, or rather that fight against everything I just said, is the wonderful Kavitha Emmanuel, who's with me right now on the show. She's the founder of a beautiful little company called Women of Worth, and they've just launched a Dark is Beautiful campaign that actually, started in 2009, but it's gained a lot of momentum. Firstly, Kavitha, it's so good to speak with you. It's good to see you. How are you?
I'm good, Kay. My pleasure to be here and to be talking about something that's really interesting and important to talk about.
So 10 years since the inception, or a little more in fact, that the campaign actually has gained international recognition. It's garnered support from celebrities and recognition and mention in various media publications around the world. But I'm sure this journey of fighting colorism started from somewhere. Where is that for you? Where did it start from?
Yeah, so that's something that most people ask me. To be frank, this is something that we've grown with also since we started the campaign in 2009. Now, there's actually no one answer to where it started.
Okay.
Because you can point out to a lot of different reasons. Today we still have issues like casteism. There's north-south divide, and the understanding that the south people are darker.
Don't forget also people who like pineapple on pizza and people who don't. It's a big divide as well. It's another one.
So there's a lot of divide and different flavors of biryani all over.
Oh my God. Okay, now we'll go down that path.
That is
now.
a big debate, yeah.
No, but sorry, let's get back to this, yeah.
Yeah. So, talking about it. So I personally would rather focus on how come we still have it in our midst? Why are we still reinforcing it? Why do we still kind of accept it? For me, that is a key question rather than where did it come from? Of course, I mean, we can point to a few different reasons, like colonialism, casteism, or rich and poor divide, and so on. So there's no one answer to where it came from.
I'm going to be a little bit more specific because I think I'll let you go because I think you misunderstood my question. My question is, where did this campaign start for you? Why did you start this campaign?
Okay. Why did I start the campaign? Actually, it's a team effort. It's not just one person doing it. It's all of us. And it's basically because we were kind of pushed to do it. Because we heard real stories from real people, the experiences, the labeling, the nickname that people experience right from a very young age, and how it affects them as individuals. It kind of hinders people from living their full potential. And so when we began to see that and realize that no one's talking about it, how come? In a country like this, no one's talking about colorism. We're talking about so many other issues, but we're not talking about. So we thought, let's do something about it. Let's start the conversation. So that's how we started the
Dark is Beautiful campaign.
Yeah.
Great. And could you kind of take us through some of a few specific advocacy initiatives that you guys have undertaken and how that's kind of panned out over the years?
We've done quite a few things really, and of course right now we are very much on social media platforms, so people can easily connect with and be part of these conversations. But when we started it, to be frank, we didn't know what to do with it because it's a sort of a very sensitive issue, right? And so
it is.
we wanted Yeah, so it is kind of because very often we face it in our own homes, our own parents or grandparents or relatives, calling us names or making those remarks. So people don't share openly about it, but they feel the hurt, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yeah, so we decided to give it artistic expression. We thought art is a great medium for people to
It is.
express. And so how we launched it was we did a series of contests in painting, photography, short stories, and so on. And so we invited entries, and to our amazing amazement, we got so many entries within a span of a week. And that's basically how we launched the campaign, and
Beautiful.
the conversation started. Yeah.
Recently, I think the most recent thing that I can think of was when we had the Black Lives Matter movement really pick up pace in the US of A, and then it spread to different parts of the world, and then it came to India as well, right? And we said that, hey, you know what, brown lives matter too, if that made any sense. But fundamentally, when we addressed all of this, there were advocates here in India, but with regards to bringing out that problem of colorism, right? How did you guys kind of react when that kind of came to India? What were some of the trends that you were seeing at that time? And where do we stand after all of that yelling we've been doing to someone, for someone to hear, right? Where are we right now?
That is a packed question. There's a lot of layers to your question, and of course, the answers. I'll try to be as brief as possible.
Sure, sure.
The thing is, when Black Lives Matter movement picked up, and we also had calls from them, and media here called us and wanted to know our opinion and all that. The thing is, when you say Black Lives Matter, it's I don't think it's right to kind of steal the attention from a particular issue and say brown lives also matter. Of course,
Yeah, because
all lives matter,
all
right?
lives
So
matter.
yeah,
Absolutely. When
yeah,
that was
yeah.
happening, we were, in India, we were like, hey, we matter too. Just wanted to say, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But so when you're focusing on an issue, it doesn't mean that the other side doesn't matter. When you say women, have to be empowered, doesn't mean men don't have to be empowered. Men and women are important. So the question, the one of the factors is that colorism, it doesn't exist on its own. It kind of is it intersects with other issues like colorism and racism, colorism and casteism, colorism and classism.
good
So
point.
yeah, so in India, it's very unique in the way you see colorism. You probably won't see it in other parts of the world. For us,
Absolutely.
we have our, for instance, our matrimonial columns with arranged marriage, wanted groom, or bride
I am
fair,
now an
and
engaged man. I am an engaged man myself. So
yeah.
luckily, I'm not looking at
Okay.
matrimonial columns. But
Okay.
I don't know. But like sometimes when I come across them in the listings, I'm like, I really thought we were in the 21st century. I thought we moved ahead, but no.
So that really reflects who we are, even at this point. There's nothing wrong in with arranged marriage per se, but then what are we
No, I
looking
was
for
referring
in
to
marriage?
the listing of wanted fair girl
Exactly.
that
Yeah.
does,
Yeah. Yeah. It's like crazy. So, yeah, it's very unique here in India. It's very unique in South Asian nations. It's very unique in Africa. It's, in the Middle East. So
yeah,
it's kind of different, and it intersects with different issues. And so we do empathize with what is happening in the US, and, with Black Lives Matter. We said, yes, we are with you on this matter, but
yeah.
we don't want to steal the attention away from what you're facing right now.
Well said.
Yeah.
Well said. Now, when you did launch the campaign in 2009 with real passion to address the issue of colorism in India, I think some of the challenges you had, you were challenged by the lack of voice for these traumatized by skin color discrimination, and I think you really recognized the need for a platform for people to connect, express, and challenge this toxic belief that was really stripping people of their sense of worth almost. But with that, how far have we come, Kavita? When you started this in 2009, are these conversations still prevalent? Do you still have, and when I say this, let's talk about your and my inner circles, right? Our first circles, our second circles of people whom we know and love, who come and say that, hey, this happened to me today. This person said this, and I was taken aback and I didn't know how to react. Do you still face that?
Absolutely, yes. I'm just reminded of one particular ad we used to have some time back. I don't know if you've seen it. There's a shade card, like how you go and buy paint. You can choose paint. So this ad actually, shows you a shade card and say if you start using this product, you'll keep going, from lighter to lighter and so on. So how do we measure progress? Is, it's basically to note the narrative around us, and there's good news and bad news. Some things have changed and have gotten better, but
Sure,
the
sure.
most, there's a lot that has to change in terms of representation of all kinds of skin. For instance, today, how does the world perceive Indians? What do they think Indians look like? To
Butter chicken.
most people are, yeah, to most people, like, your
I'm
Aishwarya
not even
Rai
saying
or,
that as a joke. I mean that in
yeah,
all honesty, I've actually
yeah.
asked people there, and then this is what they've told me. This is something that I've heard.
So see, you see right there the sort of perception we have to change, for the world around us. And this is not the, yeah, Aishwarya Rai is one type of, skin color. We have so many different shades of skin. And so those are things we need to do. But when you look at advertising, things have
I was just going to
changed.
get to that. I was going to get. I'm not.
Yeah,
I want to get to that
yeah.
next. What my question was
Okay.
specifically in your circles. Do you still see friends and family really come up to you and say that I witnessed something like this? And if you could recount one of those instances, also, I'm happy to hear it.
Definitely. See, the thing is, we are just one campaign, right? And we need probably 100 other campaigns like ours to bring that sort of a change. But yes, do we receive emails? Do we hear stories? Yes, hundreds of them since we started the campaign. And so I can definitely say, in terms of progress, awareness about the issue has increased. Conversations have increased, narrative has increased, improved to some extent. But yeah, in terms of change, I have, one story I keep saying that over a
Please, let's hear it.
15-year-old girl. Yeah, there's this 15-year-old girl, maybe now she's probably 20 or 25. So she wrote to me and said, people have told me not to stand in front of the blackboard because they can't see me. And I've used countless number of whitening products. Sometimes I've had allergies. But when I saw the campaign and realized there are other people like me, and the fact that you validate how I feel, I realized I don't have to change anything about me. And she said, I'm Annie, and I'm just 15 years old. So for a person that young to feel that sort of a deep hurt and trauma because of what people have said to her, and then to say that, no, now I
Yeah.
think differently. For us, what we're doing is worth it for us. So
Super.
yeah.
So happy to hear that. And I want to ask you what you touched upon, which is the ads, right? It's fueled by a lot of media campaigns, across the world, not only in India. I'm not going to say only in India, but across the world. In fact, we play such a key role in influencing the young. You're watching, say, a certain show on television, hypothetically, or you're watching a video on YouTube, and you suddenly have this pop up saying that skin color, you need to get lighter. Here's what you use. This is the thing that. But do you feel that amongst the media fraternity, there is a lot of change, especially since you started way back in 2009? I feel it's come a decent way, but I'd love to know your thoughts because you've basically been tracking that journey nonstop.
I would say the advertising world or the cosmetic brands are aware that the general public is more aware now. But in terms of change, I would say we haven't really felt it. They
I'm sad
say,
to hear
they
that.
claim, yeah, they say, they claim, but I don't see a lot of change, sadly, especially with regards to advertising. So, yeah.
Right. So for young people, Kavitha, or parents who have young ones who are exposed to various types of media, be it, the internet, be it television, be it even radio, whatever it is, right? They're listening keenly, and they're aware, like you said, of what's going on in terms of this thing. But there's that insecurity that creeps up because, hey, I saw it on an ad. I saw it here, I saw it there. I want you to address this from two perspectives. One, how does a parent of a kid like this kind of tackle it? And number two, how does a kid respond to this? If, say, for example, they are listening to this right now, how do they react to it when they come across a piece of information on the internet that has color discrimination in it?
We've seen interesting observations really in different generations. For instance, when an older generation person looks at it, they may not even feel there's an issue there. right? Unless they are told this is not right, this is how it makes a
Yeah.
person feel, and why should we change skin color and that sort of thing. Whereas a person from, say, a Gen Z right now, or someone in school or college is watching an ad, one of the things that I've seen is they get it immediately. Like, what the heck, why should I change my skin color? Why should anyone change their skin color? So they get the message immediately, and they kind of don't buy into the advert because they are more aware today than the older generations. But how does it impact these advertisements? Though some of these kids may say that I don't believe in this, it does impact them, because I've heard
Absolutely.
stories from
Yeah.
parents where children see the ad and they go and wash their face, scrub their face, thinking like, if I put this soap on, I'm going to look different and more beautiful.
Yeah.
So it does impact us very deeply, and especially children.
Right. So how would parents tackle something like that? How would kids tackle something like that?
Definitely, parents should have open conversations with their children and tell them, they don't have to apologize for their skin color, and that beauty comes in different shades. Though you may not today see all these different skin shades on this television screen or in social media as much as you would like to, but then parents need to affirm and reassure their children again and again, because they're going
Sure.
to keep facing these comments over and over again. So parents, and they need to talk to the teachers in school to ensure
Yeah.
that they don't kind of reinforce this sort of a bias, because it's not just, I mean, media has taken it, and advertising, kind of, they prey on the insecurities of people, but they didn't create the bias, right? So the bias was created and it's embedded in our culture. So
Mm-hmm.
we need those sort of affirming messages, and so be with the kids when they go through those sort of things, and
Sure.
tell them they're
Sure.
beautiful. Yeah.
Well, the campaign is called Dark is Beautiful. Started all the way back in 2009. Women of Worth, they're a not-for-profit based in India, and they aim towards awareness and advocacy to fight colorism. And I hope you've enjoyed conversation with Kavitha Emmanuel. And if you have, Kavitha, where is the best place for them to find you guys online?
Our website is darkisbeautiful.in. We are in different various social media platforms: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Do connect with us, and yeah,
You know,
be part of the campaign.
let me just say that while we're at the end of this interview, it seems like such a small thing, right? When we speak about it, and we come from a place of privilege where, maybe we might not have people in our families that react like that. I'm just saying,
Correct.
we come from a real place of privilege, and we like, this is such a silly issue. Why is there this advocacy for it? Unfortunately, I think people who are in that position don't realize that there are so many others out there who suffer day in and day out just by the people in their circles constantly needling, poking, prodding until it becomes too much at one point of time. I think what you started all the way back in 2009 is such a beautiful little initiative. We're in 2021, but I wish you all the very best for the years to follow. And here's hoping that we don't even need to have that conversation, because it's an issue that's been normalized in the future, and
I hope
we don't
so
have a
too.
bias towards
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I
Thank you,
enjoyed talking
Kavitha.
to you.
I really enjoyed conversation with you, and wishing you all the very best. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks for watching. If you like this video, then subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon so you don't miss out on more content.